Hey y'all, it's Kate from the Apothecary and welcome back to my channel. I am back with another reading vlog for the Sphinx Championship series. We are now in the finals. Final round. I think there's 10 novellas in this round, 3 of which I have already read, so I'm going to do a really quick recap here in case you missed it the first time or you forgot. These 3, one of them I read in the very first round, and the other 2 were our 2 picks to move on from the semifinal round to the final round. So the first one is Shattered Spirits, The Fall of Ishkarn by Cal Black. This one I gave 5 out of 5 stars. This was the very first novella that I read for this competition, and so far it is the only book that I gave 5 out of 5 stars for. I loved everything about it. I thought it was absolutely fantastic. I wouldn't change a single thing about it. Next up, we have A Sorrow Named Joy by Sarah Chorn. This one I gave 4.5 out of 5 stars, and I loved it. This was like a quiet, emotional, deep novella about a main character who finds out some very, very revolutionary stuff about themselves throughout this book. It's a book of self-discovery, a book that digs deep into humanity and asks hard questions like why? Why are we here? Why do we continue to fight on? Why do we love, and what is love? And I just loved it so much. And then the last novella that I've already read out of our finalist allotment is The Collector's Lost Things. This was by Jessica A. McMinn, and I gave this one 4.5 out of 5 stars also. I really enjoyed this one, and I've enjoyed talking to Jessica on social media, and I can't wait to see what the rest of the judges think of this book. Speaking of our finalists, I am halfway through my first finalist. That is Ruins of Smoke by J.O.F. Silva, and I am enjoying the writing in this, but I'm having a hard time connecting with our characters, so I'm interested to see where the second half of this novella goes and if I'm able to eventually establish that connection with the characters that I love to feel in reading books. So that's it for now, and I'll check in probably after I finish Ruins of Smoke like I've done before. So you might have guessed it, but I have fallen way behind on my check-ins for this reading vlog for the Sphinx finalist round. I have, since my last check-in, finished 2 novellas, DNF'd one, and started another one. So last time I checked in, I was about halfway through Ruins of Smoke. I have finished that. I ended up giving it 4 out of 5 stars. It was a low 4-star rating for me. I enjoyed it, but I felt like I needed to read his other works, Seeds of War, first before this novella, even though this novella was a prequel novella, to really be able to appreciate everything happening here. I wish this was more of a standalone or a first book in a series, because I was interested in this world, but I just didn't get any of that emotional pull because it was moving so fast and it had so many different moving parts that I think we've learned about at least some of the moving parts and the magic and the world and all of that in Seeds of War in much more detail. But unfortunately, this is a prequel novella that was supposed to be, you don't need all the other books to read, as all the novellas in this competition should be. And I just felt like I didn't get as much out of it as I would have if maybe I had read Seeds of War. The next finalist that I read was A Wolf in Thieves' Clothing by Lily Ann Crow, and I really, really enjoyed this novella. I ended up giving it 4.5 out of 5 stars. This is like, we start off with a heist gone bad, and then it brings us back to before the heist started. It jumps around a little bit, which is one of the reasons why I gave it 4.5 and not 5 stars, because the timeline was a little confusing to me, especially in such a short space that the novella provides. But I loved our characters, I loved the storytelling, I loved the world building, and I can't wait to read more Lillian Crow from here. And then I read We're All Monsters Here by Amy Marsden, and this was the novella that I DNF'd. I got to about 36%, and I was just not invested at all in this read. I couldn't connect with any of the characters, the story, the plot, the world. I was just not having a good time with this one, so I decided, with the permission of my teammates, to go ahead and DNF this one. And looking back at our records, this was my first DNF in the competition, and everyone else on my team had DNF'd at least 1 or 2 books before this, so I don't feel as bad DNFing in this competition, although I really didn't want to DNF any books and I wanted to give them all equal fair shares, but this one just wasn't doing it for me, and all my teammates said it wasn't worth trying to push through. Now I am reading the Re-Emergence. This is a science fiction novella, and so far it's a hard one because I am having a hard time connecting to the characters because it's jumping around a lot, the different points of views with different characters. But I'm gonna push through and see if I can finish this one up in the next couple days to move on to, I think I have 3 more left after that. I don't want to have to DNF more, although this one might not be as highly ranked, but I want to give it its fair share. I don't have as many issues as I did with We're All Monsters Here, so I'm hoping that it improves from here and I get used to the writing style and the characters and whatnot in the next 100 pages or so. But that's it for now, and I'll check in with y'all guys again soon. Once again, behind on my reading vlogs, as per the new normal. I did end up DNFing the Re-Emergence by Alan K. Dell. I got to 55% and I couldn't follow it at all, and it wasn't worth my time trying to read it, even though I had no idea what was going on or to who or, anything about the world. So I ended up DNFing 2 novellas so far in the finalist round. I since then read The Dark Heart of Ilmoure by Kara N. Delaney. I really enjoyed this one. This one I gave 4 out of 5 stars. The intrigue in this one was top notch. I had to read this. I had to keep reading it. I couldn't stop reading it. And at first it was because of the characters. I was trying to get a feel for the characters, figure out what they were all about. And then it was for the story. Once the story started picking up, I was sucked in and I just had to see it straight through to the end. I gave it, like I said, 4 out of 5 stars. I thought it was really well done, and I would definitely be interested in reading more by this author. Now, I've already started in on my next novella called Dragonheart by Angela Board, and I have, just in the prologue, one quote for you all already. It says, "But dragon tastes like the sky, like an empty sea with nothing between you and the horizon, like the wind lifting you up and setting you soaring. Dragon tastes like freedom." I know nothing about this novella except for that it's fantasy, and I'm really excited to dive into this. Just 2 novellas left in this whole competition, and I'm so excited. So I have another check-in now for our Sphinx final rounds. I finished Dragonmeat yesterday by Angela Board, and this one I gave 4 out of 5 stars. I really loved the tone of our main character's voice. The narration was really great. It kept me interested the entire time. It was like kind of a calming voice almost. I kind of really wanted to listen to that one on audiobook. It was interesting. It wasn't amazing, which is why I didn't give it 5 out of 5 stars, but I really enjoyed it, and I would definitely be interested in reading more from that author. So after that, I started the last finalist in the Sphinx Championship Series. That is Blackcap by Benjamin Javierin, if I said that right. This, so far, I'm about 30% in, and this is like a supernatural mystery, and it kind of gives me like the almost like a Dresden Files feel, but not quite as crazy as Dresden. A lot of it's like the dark alleyway sleuthing. I'm enjoying it so far. I am interested to see where this goes, and so I will check in when I have more to check in on or when I finished it. So, checking in on our last Sphinx finalist, I finished Blackcap by Benjamin Averin. I gave this one 4 out of 5 stars also. I enjoyed this, but it kind of felt a little flat for me. You know, it was one of those books that felt like it was good but not great. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't amazing. Just kind of, yeah, it happened, you know. It was a dark fantasy mystery, and I thought that the strongest compile category for me when I finished this was the atmosphere and the setting. The setting was absolutely fantastic. It was an urban city called New London, and you really got that city feel. It was well described, well detailed. I could see it in my head this whole time. And the atmosphere was absolutely fantastic. It felt like a mystery detective novella, and I loved it. So, like I said, I gave 4 out of 5 stars to Blackcap by Benjamin Averin, and that is it for me for the Sphinx Championship Series. That was the last finalist I had. So I have all of my scores into my team. Our team leader, Lisa, will tally up the scores when people are finishing them and release them to the community so they can check the progress of their favorite novellas. If any of these novellas sounded interesting to you, whether it was from the final round or the first round or the semifinal round, I have links to all of the novellas in the descriptions of all of my videos where I talk about them. Please do go out and get them because these are some fantastic people and some really great novellas. I will have one more video about the Sphinx Championship Series coming soon, where I'm going to talk about some of my favorite novellas that I read throughout this whole championship competition. So stay tuned for one more Sphinx video from me, and I look forward to seeing how these results shake out with all the different teams. So that's it for now. Keep reading, and I love you all to the moon and back. Bye.